Hi guys, welcome to this week's video. In this video, I'm basically going to show you guys my weekly outlook, share a couple of ideas for this week, and also show you guys some of the trades that I executed and taken last week. So just before I jump into the video and show you guys all these ideas, I want to highlight a couple of things. So obviously I haven't been posting a couple of videos for the past weeks, and then yeah, I'll be posting a bit more videos. I've actually incorporated a few differences, a few changes in my analysis, especially on the fundamental side, and also the kind of trades that I did take. So previously, I was doing a lot of intraday trades where I was actually executing and day trading, right? But now I'm actually swinging trades, meaning that I'm holding positions for some time, for some weeks and some days, right? So in this case, I've shifted that a bit more. Even though I do intraday sometimes, whenever I find like a textbook setup, I do trade on the lower time frame, try to catch lower time frame trades, but that's not really my main thing right now. My main thing right now is actually swinging trading. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of ways you can do that going forward. I'll be dropping the videos more often to show you how you can swing trade, and also show you how I've incorporated a couple of fundamental concepts to help me come up with a macro economics view on the market, right? So once you understand the macroeconomic things of any currency, right, it helps you come up with a very good long-term bias, so you understand, okay, that the market might trade to the upside or trade to the downside. So I'll show you guys in this outlook how you can do that. But yeah, basically I'm back now, posting a bit more videos, and yeah, let's jump into the first thing, which is an economical calendar that I use to do analysis of my macroeconomic view for the week. Okay, so when it comes to the economical calendar, what we want to understand first of all, it's the economic events that will be released for the coming week, and also we'll try to recap the previous economic events and how they affected the market. So when it comes to macroeconomics, what you want to do is that you want to check the events that were released last week and also that will be released this week. Last week events, they help us understand how the market reacted to those events, and in this week events, they help us to anticipate how the market is going to react, right? So basically for this week events, as you can see, we got quite a number of economic events that will be released, and on my side I'll be focusing, I'm looking more at the Australian dollar, Reserve Bank releasing their statement and the CPI numbers coming out. This is going to be quite volatile. As you can see, they've been released in the morning, so basically I have to be up in the morning to trade the news if I'm gonna trade the news. And then when it comes to the Canadian dollar, that's something that I'm also interested in. The GDP numbers on a monthly to monthly basis have been released on a Wednesday, and then eventually we do have NFP coming out on Friday. So those are just the significant economic events that I'm looking at on my side. All the other economic events, they're basically just confluence. For instance, like unemployment claims, which shows that there's a high increase of unemployment claims, and there's basically a reduction in non-farm employment change, meaning that the change of the number of people that are employed has actually reduced, right? Meaning that the unemployment has actually gone up. Hence, there's a confluence between unemployment claims and NFP. So in this case, these are the economical events that I'm looking at. NFP looks to be there looks to be a reduction, a decrease in numbers of the NFP numbers. So this is quite negative for the dollar. So hence I'm anticipating the dollar to actually weaken as NFP is being released. But overall outlook, I'm quite bullish for the dollar because it seems like the Fed, they're probably going to hike their interest rates, right? They're quite hawkish on their interest rates. So yeah, that's basically a simplified outlook on the economic events of things. And if you want a more detailed, please join the Telegram group. The link is in the bio, and you share a more in-depth analysis on the fundamental things. But yeah, basically this is my outlook. And then the other thing that you want to check is an update on the interest rates. So you can go to FX Street or many other fundamental platforms that you can use to check interest rates. But on my side, I look at FX Street, where I check and compare the interest rates, because I use the concept of interest rate differential to see which currency is offering a higher interest rate, right? So but basically this is just an insight of how you can basically use the economical calendar and also the interest rates of a currency in comparison. For a more detailed video, obviously I'm going to post it. I'm going to do a more detailed video on how you can actually use these components to come up with a better understanding of the macroeconomic things. Right, guys, so when it comes to the dollar index, it helps us to understand whether the dollar is gaining strength or not overall. right? So in this case, as you can see, the dollar has been gaining strength, and the dollar has been actually bullish, pushing to the upside, taking out and breaking out a lot of highs, right? And currently what I'm anticipating is a bit of the pullback, right? Especially for the NFP that's been released. We've seen that the NFP numbers are looking to be draining, they're actually decreasing in value. So basically this is going to have a negative effect on the dollar. So I'm anticipating price to actually push to the downside. This might be early before Friday, or actually on Friday itself, but eventually I'm anticipating price to go down and eventually push to the upside, right? The reason why I think it's gonna push to the upside, because the dollar generally on a long-term basis is actually bullish, right? Because the Fed have been increasing the interest rates, mean they've been hiking, and basically that makes the dollar stronger, right? So yeah, in this case I'm anticipating a bit of a pullback on the dollar index and eventually continuation. And actually when you do see a lot of other dollar pairs actually correlating with this, so let me just jump to the currency pairs and show you guys what I have on my watch list. Okay, so when it comes to my watch list, as you can see right now, these are the currencies that I'm looking at for this week. I actually do arrange them in a specific manner that helps me basically to manage my watch list, right? So as you can see here, I do have different sections on this tab, right, where the pairs are actually arranged in this order, where I do have executed pairs, the pairs that are just in current running positions, and then I do have pairs that are waiting to be triggered in using pending orders, and then I do have reversal setups, I do have continuation setups, buy to sell, sell and sell to buy, right? So when it comes to the setups, right, they basically develop into the two sections. So where you find that I develop a pair from actually its setup to the pending order section or to the executed section, and once prices either hit stop loss and TP, the pair then goes below here where I do have the TP hit or stop loss hit setups. But yeah, basically I manage them according to this order, because it helps me actually play around with the pairs knowingly, and also just manage them quite well. Okay, so when it comes to executed pairs, as you can see, this is EURCAD. Send it out where right after it actually reacted off this demand zone. That was like 2 weeks ago. Did send it out on the Telegram group. For those that are not subscribed to the Telegram group, the link is in the bio. You can join the group. So I did send out the setup before, and price really developed very well, because we did have a shift of character. Price pulled back into the zone and then eventually pushed to the upside, right? So as you can see here, what I'm anticipating now is price to possibly push all the way to the upside, but then price went up here, gave us a good 1 to 3, and then yeah, 1 to 3, 2 9 something right here around a 3 to 1 to 3 setup, and then it put back, eventually took us out on break even. So when price got to this point, I did take out some partials, and now price is hitting our stop loss or break even stop loss. So yeah, I'm still looking for lower time frame setups on this one. So basically what I'm doing, my new way of approaching the swings is basically going off the 4 hour, finding a 4 hour point of interest, and then from the 4 hour point of interest I go into the lower time frame and find an entry. So let me just show you guys a practical trade that I did take today. Okay, yeah, this is GBPUSD. As you can see, this is a trade that I did execute today. Basically price has been shooting to the downside, right, consolidating to the downside, accumulating. I usually like this accumulation, right, this lack of momentum to the downside, and price comes all the way to the downside, respects its forward demand zone, and then after respecting the forward demand zone, what happens is that we see a shift, right? We see a shift in structure where price actually comes and takes out this high. So what I would do, right, once price gets to a 4 hour demand zone, right, I usually go around the 15 minutes where I look for a flip zone, right? So the 15 minutes I look for a flip zone, and then I find an entry off that 15 minutes. So as you can see, this is my 15 minutes flip zone where I did see price actually come all the way, shifting structure here. After shifting structure, we see price pulling back, coming all the way, respecting this demand zone, and then I have my second entry at this point, right? At this point, price comes and gives me a second entry at this point, and actually it's shooting. So I did send out to the group. I did send out this setup to the group, saying I'll be looking for price to come here, and price just did that. So it actually makes it easy for me to incorporate my 4 hour biasness and also my lower time frame, right? So previously as I was the trading, I did actually come up with very good intraday setups, right? I do have very good intraday setups, so I can just trade off the 15 minutes to 30 minutes, right, using some smart money concepts. So incorporating that and also the 4 hour biasness, and it the 4 hour biasness, it basically gives me good entry on the swings. So yeah, this is an example of a trade that I did execute today. And then the other setups that I do have EURJPY. I mean, with EURJPY, as you can see, I'm just waiting for price to come into this imbalance right here for an entry, right? So as you can see, price has respected this supply zone, and now I'll be looking for price to come towards that imbalance and then eventually push to the downside, right after respecting this demand zone. So yeah, this is what I have on the pending order section. And on the reversal section, I'm still looking at USD, EURUSD. With EURUSD, I'm also looking for the same setup as GBPUSD, but then when it comes to USD, I wasn't really impressed with how prices formulated. Let me just try to go on the 50 minutes and show you guys what's happening. So I'm also looking for an entry on EURUSD. I'm also looking for an entry in USD, but the formations were not so beautiful because we didn't have a clear change of character. I could have forced a change of character, but I don't want to do that. I'm looking for price to possibly break past this change of character, and if I was going to enter this trade, this is going to be a high risk entry, and I'll probably reduce my risk on this setup, so I wasn't really executing it. Right, so I'm really thinking the dollar is gonna pull back, right? Especially on these EURUSD, AUDUSD, and GBPUSD pairs. It's gonna pull back and then pull back to the upside and then continue to the downside later on, right? So yeah, almost all these reversal setups, as you can see, they are basically GBPUSD, EURUSD, and AUD and then for USDCHF, for USD pairs, I'm basically looking for also pullbacks, but then pullbacks to the downside. Right, so USDCHF, as you can see, I'm looking for these two demand zones, for price to come to these two demand zones, which price has already respected on the first demand zone. Price has already tapped on the first demand zone, possibly come and tap for the second time and continue, but I'll be looking for price to possibly come all the way here before we eventually continue to the upside, right? Okay, so I'm not going to delve further into the rest of the pairs, but I've definitely sent out analysis on the group. So make sure that you do go check out on the group, in the Telegram group. The link is in the bio. You can subscribe to the Telegram group and get my daily analysis and also my updates on the setups that I'm actually trading. Let me just jump to the commodity section and show you guys what I do have on the commodity section. Okay, so when it comes to the commodities, as you can see, this is a setup on gold. I actually jumped on a continuation last week, did send it out. Was anticipating price to come all the way to 50% of the imbalance that I did find off the 30 minutes time frame. So let me just try to go on the 30 minutes time frame and show you guys what was there. Okay, so as you can see, price comes at a 30 minutes time frame, respects the imbalance, 50% of the imbalance, and then just shoots to the downside, anticipating price to come and hit me on this TP that I did set. Current position running here. As you can see, this is the liquidity that's currently forming, so definitely happy to see price come and grab the liquidity below here and then shoot to the downside. So this was a beautiful trade, quite an amazing trade. Really liked it. Simple and straightforward. The RR was 3 to 4, which is okay, and yeah, so anticipating price to shoot all the way to the downside. And then when it comes to the next pair, it's basically gold AUD, right? So gold AUD was also a good continuation setup. Same thing happened. 4-hour supply zone, price got to the 4-hour supply zone, went on the lower time frame, price shift structure to the downside, pulls back into the 50% of the imbalance, which had confluence, also stuck with another supply zone of the 30 minutes, and then price swings to the downside amazingly all the way. And currently we're running at the profit of 1 to 3, right? 1 to 3. So I'm looking for price to go all the way to the downside. So I'm quite bearish on the commodities. Obviously, as the dollar is gaining strength, we'll see the other commodities we'll see the commodities actually weakening, which is currently happening at the moment, which is gold. We're seeing it on gold, we're seeing it on silver, and also gold AUD. And then for other setups that we do have, I'm anticipating, right? So I'm anticipating some continuation setups on the other commodity setups, which is palladium. I'm anticipating a continuation. Price has already reacted off this supply zone. I didn't get to check this trade out. I probably could have seen some good setups also forming around this zone, but then I'm not really focusing on this, right? So these are the only pairs, the only commodities that I'm actually trading. So I won't even dare go further into these other pairs unless I do have something. I'm gonna send it out to the group. But yeah, most of them are just continuation to the downside because we are quite bearish when it comes to the commodities. Okay, so this is about with the commodities. For more analysis on pairs that I didn't send, I'm gonna obviously send it out to the group, so make sure that you do subscribe there. And now let's jump to the indices and see what NASDAQ and S&P 500 has for us. Okay, so when it comes to the indices, I'm quite bullish overall. As you can see, with the S&P 500 has been pushing to the upside amazingly, and we recently were in this level of consolidation where price was actually fluctuating too much, right? We see price consolidate, pushes to the downside, pushes to the upside, where I went then come to the downside, grab the liquidity here, and then we do have a proper change of we do have a proper break of structure, which is basically a change of character, because we did also change character here, but I just added it as a break of structure because this break was by a week, right? So as you can see from here, we definitely had continued to the upside, right? We did continue to the upside, and the price has been pushing to the upside ever since. So I'm quite bullish, right? Especially that we've definitely broken past this high for this week opening, broken past this high. So I'm anticipating price to pull back a little bit and then continue to the upside, right? So yeah, when it comes to indices, I'm obviously, especially US indices, I'm very bullish on them. So what I also do is that I try to check the VIX for correlation in terms of how its correlation is with the indices. Right, so with the VIX, as you can see at the moment, the VIX has been actually ranging between these points, point A and point B. So in this case, to be seeing the VIX reacting off this demand zone, respecting the demand zone and pushing to the upside. So if the VIX does push to the upside, right, we should expect the US 500 to push to the downside, right? And that's what I'm currently expecting, because we did manage to break out of the range, which is this range from point A to point B. We did manage to break out of it on the US 500, which is the S&P 500, but on the VIX, we didn't break out from point A to point B. We're still in this range, right? We're still in this range, and price hasn't gotten anywhere below. So I really think from here we're gonna push to the upside, right? On the VIX, we're gonna push to the upside, and remember, it's inversely correlated to S&P 500. So I'm definitely anticipating S&P 500 to also kind of pull back from here. So we'll see once the market are fully functioning tomorrow after today's bank holidays, and then yeah, I'll send an update on this. But so far on the group, I did send out that I'm anticipating a breakout of this and eventually a pullback, and then price to continue to the upside. And then when it comes to US30, right, US30, I'm anticipating price to come to this beautiful supply zone that has been highlighted, that I drew using the volume indicator. Price comes all the way here. Anticipated price to respect this. As you can see, we're already seeing some candles, indications of momentum reduction, right? So momentum is reduced, like the bullish momentum is being reduced as price gets to the supply zone. And yeah, from here, I'm anticipating price to actually shoot to the downside. So yeah, this is probably the cleanest setup that I do have on indices that I'll be looking at. So I'll be heavily focusing on US30, and I'll let NASDAQ and S&P 500 develop a bit more. While as NASDAQ, on the other hand, I'm not even looking at it on the 4-hour time frame. I'm actually looking at it from the daily perspective. So in this case, I'll actually go off the daily time frame and show you guys what I've definitely highlighted of the daily. So of the daily, as you can see, we've been pushing to the upside clearly. Price opened up amazingly. Last week we had some bullish momentum kick into the market. I'm anticipating price to go all the way to this supply zone on the daily time frame, and then from there I'm anticipating price to actually push to the downside. So as you can see with NASDAQ, we've been overbought for quite some time. I really like this. I like to see this kind of overbought, because this indicates that the market is actually saturated on the overbought side, and we should be able to see a reversal anytime soon. So yeah, with NASDAQ, just like S&P 500, I'm anticipating a pullback. In terms of to what extent, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna keep you guys posted, but I'm definitely expecting some form of pullback of this. I think the cleanest, as I said, the cleanest setup that I do have on indices is US30. I'm anticipating a continuation to the downside with US30, and yeah, that should be a very beautiful move to anticipate when it comes to US30, which is this setup right here. Yeah, so this is the setup that I'm actually looking at on US30. Okay, so this is about it. This is all my analysis on indices, commodities, and also on currencies, right? So for those people that are interested to check out my setups, more of them, and also how I do approach the market, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also join the Telegram group, because I do send out almost on a daily basis analysis on the Telegram group, right? And I'll be dropping more series on the strategy, breaking down the macroeconomical part, the fundamentals, and the like, because I see that most people are shifting into the fundamental part of things, as they're trying to understand the market's movement on a long-term basis, right? Alright guys, see you guys in the next video.